All right, welcome to Unit 5, Part 3 video, talking about inequalities in a triangle. The first one is that we've talked about that the measure of an exterior angle is equal to the sum of the two remote interior. So an inequality that could be made from that is that any exterior angle is greater than either of the two remote interior angles. So angle 1 here would be greater than angle A or greater than angle B individually. So if you look at the picture here for number 18, use the exterior angle inequality theorem to list all the angles whose measure are less than measure angle 14. So 14 is here and in the triangle. 4 and 11 here are the remote interior angles. So angle 4 and angle 11 are less than. But then if you look also in the bigger triangle right here, the bigger triangle, you also have 3 plus 4 and 2. So you could say angle 3 and angle 2 are also going to be less than 14. Now the ones that are greater than angle 5, angle 5 is right here. So the exterior angle for angle 5 would be, there would be 17. 17 would be an exterior angle that would be greater than it. Also 16 would be greater than it. If we look at here angle 5, we could say that angle 10 is also an exterior angle in the triangle. And we could also say that angle 12 here is an exterior angle. We could also say that angle 15 is an exterior angle to that triangle. And last but not least, angle 12. So those are all the angles that would be greater than the measure of angle 5 because there are exterior angles to that triangle. So go ahead and look at the next picture and see if you can't answer that question, and then we'll talk about the answers. All right, so if you look less than angle 4 is here. So the interior angles would be 2 and 5. They would also be 8 and 7. So those are going to be less than 4. For greater than 8, here, the exterior angles that go with 8 are 4 and also 5 and also 9. So those are the ones that would be greater than angle 8. All right, another relationship in a triangle is how the angles and sides work. And it talks about here that if one side of a triangle is longer than another side, that the angle opposite the longer side has a greater measure than the angle opposite the shorter side. And it goes vice versa. So basically, the bigger angle is opposite the bigger side. And that works the other way, whereas the smaller angle is opposite the smaller side. So if you look at the next page and it says list the angles in ABC in order from smallest to largest, well, the smallest side is 11.1. So if you go opposite that, angle C would be the smallest angle. 14.3 is next, so angle A would be the next, and then B would be the biggest. Number 21, list the angles here. The smallest would be angle X, then angle T, then angle V. If we do it the other way, list the sides of the triangle in order from smallest to largest. That means that AC would be the smallest, AB would be next, and then the largest would be BC. And then here it would be RS, then RT, then ST. Because remember, smallest side opposite the smallest angle, then you just keep going down until you get to the biggest one. All right, the next question says, Tanya is following directions for making a kite. She has two congruent triangular pieces of fabric that need to be sewn together along their longest side. The directions say to begin sewing the two pieces of fabric together at the smallest angles. At which two angles should she begin sewing? Well, to find the smallest angle, we have to look at the smallest side. So in here it's angle A, and then here it would be angle D. So those are the two angles that she should begin sewing. All right, so then it says state the relationships between RS and ST. Well, RS is the smallest one and ST is bigger. So that means RS is less than ST. And then for RT and ST, well, RT is the biggest one. So RT is greater than ST. All right, so then next, it says in triangle TRI, gives you the angles. So it might help to draw it out. T is 36 degrees, R 57, I 87. So that means from shortest to longest, the sides would be RI, TI, and RT. Using the exterior angle inequality theorem, what angles measure less than angle 1? Well, the ones that measure less than angle 1 would be angle 3 and angle 4 for sure. Those are the remote interior here. In the bigger triangle, it would be angle 5 because that's part of this one, and then also angle 6. Then it says state the relationships between the angles. Well, angle A is the smallest one, so because it's opposite the smallest side, so angle A, so for part A would be less than angle B. And then for part B, C is the biggest one, so angle B would be less than angle C. All right, that concludes our video on triangle relationships. Stay tuned for part 4.